Hey, welcome to the weekly wrap up. Now we are live on Getting Started in Crypto, X, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Hi, and happy Easter, everyone. It's been a really boring week. What can I say? Bitcoin did what I said it was going to do last week. Put it on Twitter today, or X today. So let's jump in, because I guarantee nobody's even up yet. You're all still in bed on your public holiday, bank holiday, whatever holiday you call it, Easter Monday holiday, and you can watch this probably on replay. So hey Sadie, I can see that you're up and you're around, and hi, let me know if you've got any requests. I've got a few that have come through from X that I'm going to be having a look at, and others I'm not, because I've had a look at all the charts and some really ugly alts out there. So let's jump straight into Bitcoin. So these were my squiggles that you've seen on the weekly wrap up over the last few weeks. We've had a really couple of boring weeks where we've just gone sideways. Ooh, here we go. So these are futures releasing. So these were rolled over from Friday. They've released today. They haven't quite broken the upper pivot. They've broken the first pivot. That's a really good sign. Still got a little bit of momentum happening at the moment. We want to break this high of 87,620 and then continue up. The next two pivots are really important. So they are directional pivots. And if we can get to this 93,489 pivot, that's probably the most important one, because that one says we are going up. So this is a 4-hour chart. I'm going to put this through to a daily and just have a look here, because we have these MAs that are coming down to cross. We don't want those to cross. That's a really bearish sign if they do cross. So that's a no-go, no cross. We want essentially to get up to these pivots in this region. So we should get up and touch that 88,673 pivot, then likely a small pullback at that region. And then the next resistance is going to be that 90,000 sort of 780. If we get a rejection here, this 100 MA might come down to about 90,000. So just be aware of that. So that might pull back a little bit. And then that next level is 93,489, and that's the next pivot to break. So, and then we've got the high of this previous wave 94,850-ish. And then we've got some free air above. So we should be able to, sort of fill that level out. Get that little Lisa out of the way. We're looking really mighty high on the stock. So that just probably needs to cool down a little bit. Plenty of room on the daily RSI to move. When we go to the BLX, so this is the Bitcoin Liquid Index. This is from the beginning of time. So for those that are wondering why it's called the BLX, it goes right back to the birth of Bitcoin. And then we've got the whole entire pattern. So we can see the overall sort of momentum of what's been happening in Bitcoin. So this is a really nice pullback, as I keep telling you guys. We've come back, we've retested the previous breakout region as support. Now, our next resistance in this region is going to be around the 119,000. So I'm seeing a lot of sort of rumors and news coming out from the Trump camp. So that's going to be our next level of resistance if those rumors are correct. So fingers crossed, like everything crossed, eyes crossed. That's our next resistance, and we go absolutely boom. So I'm seeing that there's a 250K goal on that. So the next kind of fib level is 257. If that gets really bullish, people are going to get really excited about that. So from this point, nothing's ever guaranteed, so don't go like all in. 200% move. That's a really nice bull run move. And why this is possible, we're about to break through the Bitcoin dominance market cap and this resistance here. So if we can break through that resistance, it's a really good chance that Bitcoin could get up to that 73% mark, which is looking probably at this region about that 118, 119. 250 is going to be a little bit harder. So that will start that momentum though, and that's the next big resistance up ahead. So we looked at gold last week and it's absolutely like moving really well. So if you've got gold ETFs, they are on fire at the moment. The inflows just keep coming. So that's one to watch, because I do believe eventually this gold money, some of that will transfer back into Bitcoin and into the crypto market. Let's just quickly run through that, because I know you've got to get on with your day and that's what you want to do. So this is ETH from last week. It's crossed this resistance. Like I said, the easiest way to cross a resistance is sideways. It's done that. So next region here is 2085. It'll probably just crawl down along that resistance and then break out. So it has moved nicely. It's done exactly what it was supposed to do. So even though it's a bit slower, I'm seeing that Vitalik is kind of saying stuff that, you know, they're going to change the way ETH works. Let's see if that happens. Because if that does happen, maybe ETH might actually do something. Maybe it might actually like reach the 10,000 mark like it shows on the charts. Right now, the way it is and the way it works, it's not going to get there. So it does need those upgrades and that sort of thing for it to happen for ETH. Next chart, XRP. So we've got a really cool pattern for XRP happening, which I'm going to, this is kind of on a few charts. So we've got an inverse head and shoulders. Now, the way we get old school, this is for anyone who, you know, doesn't really know Elliott Wave, doesn't know how to do fibs. Just if you see one of these patterns, you can almost guarantee that it's going to 2.78 soon. So that's, once this confirms, we've got one more confirmation at 2.2. Once it touches that region, XRP should get to about 2.78. Always have a stop loss though. Now we've got, these are from X, a couple of these questions. So a zero, another like ugly chart. So this one has come all the way back down. So this is when it comes into market. That's when basically lands on the exchanges, dips back down as people sell. They go, oh, okay, it's not going quite down as low. They keep buying. And then at this point, as I told you last week, all the VCs, everyone who's invested in this coin, then starts to dump their tokens. So they've just got their initial, like their tokens are normally spread out over a period of 12 months, but they've just got their initial tokens and they just dumped it onto the market. And then it sort of comes back a little bit. And then the VCs and everyone gets their tokens, gets dumped back onto the market. And it's like, because they want to protect their capital and make money. So that's what happens. So you need to wait for these patterns to form before going in and going, oh my God, this is the latest and greatest thing, because that's what happens. The investors take their profits first. And then if this is strong enough to survive, that's when you're going to start making some money. So if you've bought back at that point and you're still holding on and the market starts to turn around, you might be okay. If not, it's broken down beyond sort of the initial launch, and it's got some pretty heavy sort of stuff ahead. So 100 MA at 1.5, 200 at 2.8. Pivots are sitting at 34.7, and 59.4. So they're kind of the major regions that need to be broken before I would even consider looking at this as even being remotely bullish. Right now, it's just looking ugly. Link. So this was one of the charts that we looked at last week. I said it was coming back down to about 12.24, came back a little bit lower, 11.89, and it's still underneath this like previous support is now resistance. So that's how it works. So when something breaks out, it normally becomes a support as it was a previous resistance. When it breaks down, it is then a resistance from a previous support. So the next resistance on this chart is 1397, and it should pull back. We want it to hold the 100 and 200 MAs on the hourly, 1278, and that would be quite a bullish sign for Link. When we take it up to the daily, we've had a cross, which is not ideal. So, you know, this can sort of cross if Link can get up to that region. So that's 1724. This is actually a signal in at GSIC, and we're heading up to the target too. So that is at that 13 sort of, 14 mark. So that's the next resistance, likely a pullback in that region. So as well, that 1294 on the daily is the 21 and 9 EMA. So that's going to be a strong support. So going back, when we see that sort of confluence in those regions, that's when we go, okay, this is a support. We can see that we've got it here. We've got sort of around that region. We've got the 100 and the 200. And when we go up to the daily, we've got the 9 and 21, and they've just about to cross a bullish cross. So if they can cross, that's a really strong sign that we're going up and testing this region. So for me, Link is a strong buy. This is XTZ. So it's turned into a little bit of a zombie coin, but it's held the support. It's got, maybe it might come back down and just like dip one more time, but I don't think so. What we're seeing is we're seeing a momentum change in the market if that continues to happen, and we continue to see that momentum with what Trump is saying occurring and not sort of getting wound back. Oh, no, I didn't say that. It was just a rumor. So if that actually confirms, we're going to see a lot of these alts sort of really sort of pick up. So this is going to be one to watch, sitting really low on the RSI. MACD is showing some signs that it is starting to get some green islands down there. We want that to happen. And as long as it holds this long-term support, that's going to be a buy. So as long as it doesn't dip below about, 0.45, then XTC longer term is going to be okay. VET is one that we looked at last week, and it is showing some really positive momentum here as well. So resistance at 0.31 and 3.4. So if we put some fibs on this just to see sort of where this is going, we can see that at what is called, oops, just moved it off there, what is called the golden zone, the 0.65 to the 618 is sitting just at the 200 MA on the daily. So that's going to be the kind of the region that it gets to before it has a pullback. So again, we're going to see those indicators sort of twisting sideways as BTC does its thing. Hopefully BTC moves. We see, 93,500 this week, if not next. So it's been quite a choppy market. We don't have a lot of stuff happening from CYs this week. So it's just going to be a news cycle that is really driving the market. Come end of this month, we have another big futures release. So that should happen probably between the 28th and the 30th. And then from there, I saw something the other day on, if you believe in signs, I saw somebody say April showers brings May flowers. So Or everyone always says stay away in May, but I think this May is going to be different. We're starting to sort of firm up patterns and starting to look really good. So as long as we don't get a US government go, oops, no, that was just a rumor, I think this is really good. And I hope you've all been sort of DCAing into these dips, because you should be starting to come into some really nice profits. And I think that should continue. So I'm going to leave you now for enjoy your day. And before I do go, I'm going to let you know about our Femex deal that we've got. So sign up. Link is underneath in this, wherever you're watching it. And you can literally go to gettingstartedencrypto.com, click on the free signals, follow the instructions. So sign up to Femex via our referral code, deposit $1,000, and fill out the form. It emails us and it automatically lets you in for signals. So, and you will get scalp signals free from Getting Started in Crypto. So, and you'll be making money. So make sure you get onto that, and especially today, because you've got a public holiday or bank holiday or whatever you're doing. And yeah, so thank you, and have a really happy Easter if you're celebrating. Hug your family, and I will catch you next week from Dubai.